Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Grand Central Sports Hub. Sitting on the surface of the sun, I am Jay-Z, joined this evening by our gentleman in Salt Lake City, Utah, Mr. Soriano. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And in Hamilton, Massachusetts, Diamond Dan.
Top of the morning to you.
Seth Cantor on assignment tonight. He'll return in about 2 weeks to the show. So do not worry. Do not fear. He'll be back.
Is he in Gitmo?
I cannot disclose where he's at. It's a secret mission, and we're not allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
About that. No, Seth's doing fine. And so this show this evening, what better? We were sitting during the week, you guys, and we were texting about what are we going to talk about tonight? What should be the main topic of the show? And I threw out, well, let's just do an NBA preview. And Dan's like, I'm like, Dan, you're really into it. You're like, no, not really. I'm just rooting for the Rockets. And then Matt's like, you don't fucking know anything about basketball. And then I was like, you're right. I don't know anything about basketball.
But you know what we do know about? Gambling.
Right.
And you know what I like? I like making my money work for me when I put money down on sports. So we'll talk all about that tonight.
So we do have one associate of ours who will join the show once again. His second show in a row, Josh, the Red Sox fan, will be on shortly. He'll walk us through the basketball bracket. Dan, I'll rely on you to either confirm or reject his ideas, right? And I'll just sit here and have some sparkling seltzer while you do that. How about
Sounds delightful.
It is.
Oh, the spritzer.
A spritzer. So we're going to do that for the beginning of the show. Then we'll transition. Mr. Soriano has been scouting out Mets camp, and summer camp is underway for baseball. So we are going to have in-depth reporting right from his sources about Mets camp. I've got a litany of items from Yankees camp as well. You might, Diamond Dan, as well, with your sources. But I definitely have a sketch pad of some items I'd like to touch on from Yankee camp. So we'll talk about Mets and Yankees camp. Then we have an open line segment tonight. You, watching at home, wherever you're watching from, you can join the show tonight. If you have questions, you want to bust our balls about something, you just want to get your face on national internet. What is this? I don't even know what this is. You can get on the show tonight. We'll share the link in the comments throughout the night. So please be prepared to have headphones on if you join the show tonight. All right? We'd be happy to have you.
There are two exits over the wings and two behind you. Remember that the closest one might be behind you.
And that was good. And let's real quick before we have a start bench cut segment, a special one tonight. It makes its return to the show. So we got a jam-packed show for you this evening. But real quick, we have to celebrate real fast. You know what we need to celebrate, Mr. Soriano? What do we need to celebrate?
Lindsey Ruff.
Lindy Ruff.
Ruff
is
Lindsey.
Lindy Ruff
Sorry.
is now has been promoted, and he's no longer the Rangers' defensive assistant coach, and he's been hired by the New Jersey Devils as their head coach.
That's right. He's on the Mickey Mouse team now.
You had a choice of Pete DeBoer, not Pete DeBoer. What the hell am I talking about? Gerard Gallant. No, you had Peter Laviolette and Gerard Gallant, two established hockey coaches. And what have you done, Devils? What have you done?
It just goes to show you how dysfunctional that franchise has been since Lamoriello went to the garbage dump in Nassau County. They don't know what they're doing. The cream of the crop that was available there was Laviolette, who was a cup-winning coach. He never should have been let go by the Islanders, by the way. Right. And now he just took garbage off the hands of the Rangers. A guy who never should have been hired by the Rangers because they had a great defensive coach in Jeff Bukaboom, who got a raw deal
now
under Bastille.
Lindy Ruff
True story. Jeff Bukaboom was the special guest at the grand opening of the JCPenney at the Palisades Center Mall.
Oh, my goodness.
And now that store will be closed. So thanks for nothing, Jeff Bukaboom.
Yeah, the same way Nancy Kerrigan was the opening act at the ice skating rink at the Palisades Center Mall, right, Dan?
Native of Linfield, Massachusetts.
That rink leaked that day, by the way.
It leaked all over. It took a piss all over the store underneath it, the Nordstrom, right? Was that Nordstrom? What was underneath it?
Lord and Taylor.
Lord and Taylor. Screw it. They don't have anything good there anyway. So
They're gone too.
They're all gone. There's nothing left. It's a ghost town. So Lindy Ruff, he is an established coach. What I said before, but the other guys being established, they've had more recent success, and they are hip to the current NHL game. The NHL game has probably passed Lindy Ruff behind. The Devils probably, yikes. I don't think they're going to feel this one, but not my problem. The Rangers don't have to deal with him anymore. So as we move on here, real quick, so Eric wanted to know who's the Mets owner. We will talk about Mets ownership in the Mets segment, right there, Matt?
Yeah, we have some KWAP breaking news on that one. So
that's outstanding.
Today was the bidding deadline for round one.
Round one.
GNN, the Ginzo News Network.
That is correct. When we break news, we break news in these.
That's right. You break it all. You break it through.
Goodness gracious. So we'll get to the baseball segment. But first, we are going to be a fair podcast and talk about every sport that includes basketball. And we're going to bring in Josh, the Red Sox fan. Hi, Josh. You're on mute. So,
hey, guys. How's it going?
Welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back.
So, you know what Josh doesn't have in common with the rest of us? Well, he's a
Y chromosome.
He's a Red Sox fan. That's one. And B, he seems to have league-wide basketball knowledge. So under the impression. And if he doesn't, he's going to make shit up and make it sound like it. That's just the way it's going to go. So we got to put on a show here tonight, and that's absolutely right. And we can't always talk about baseball, or we could. But tonight we are going to transition to a little bit of basketball. And so the pressure's on. And
I will not be transitioning during this show, by the way.
You will be.
You've used that word quite. Are you trying to tell us?
I've used it like 3 times, and there's actually a comment already about it. And I was like, oh, darn. So Josh did some homework for us and actually put together a bracket. So we're going to have Josh walk us through his bracket, and Dan is going to either be the protagonist or antagonist and see what his consensus is to your picks, Josh. So,
well, I think, Josh, could you, before you put the bracket up, could you just talk a little bit about the scenario that we're in the bubble down at Disney for our 5 listeners, please?
Yeah, of course. So we have 22 teams returning to NBA action later this month. It's going to start, obviously, with 9 teams out in the East. 13 teams out west. It was based off of winning percentage that all teams across the league had. How they got the 22 teams, it's really interesting to me. It sounds like a couple of the owners that were at the bottom of those conferences wanted to get a little extra money, TV money. So now we're at 22. But nonetheless, it's still going to be 2 8-seeded conferences in the playoffs. However, these teams that are below there, the Washington Wizards on the East, and then on the West, you're looking at the Phoenix Suns, you're looking at San Antonio Spurs, I believe. Who else do we have here? Sacramento, Memphis. All these teams are going to be up at play. Obviously, the New Orleans Pelicans. So they're going to have a chance to get that final 8th seed. So we'll see kind of what happens with that. But that's kind of the overall gist of it. Some big themes I think to look at: who's going to break the bubble first, who's going to lose their mind.
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be psychiatrists on hand. I also read an article today that they are flying in barbers from across the country to be inside this bubble at Disney. So lots of factors going on here, and these guys are going to have so much time on their hands. You're probably going to play against them in 2K somewhere.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this scenario, right, is that, the MLS now has started today at Wide World of Sports. So you have one sport that's underway in Orlando, and then the NBA players have flown in over the weekend and this week, right? So you've got the playoffs necessarily don't start until August 17th. And the NBA wants to maintain a playoff scenario just like any other year that, drags out into October, which is going to drag their dick right across the face of the Major League Baseball if they end up finishing the season. So that'll be interesting. And if the NHL comes back, but neither here nor there.
I had
these guys just got there, right, to Orlando. So they're in their hotels. They're assigned, and apparently it was either 48 or 72 hours the teams had to sequester in their rooms individually without leaving. So that's why you might have seen on social media these Fire Festival type meals that were being served to NBA players who are used to, champagne and, Robin Leach kind of shit. But apparently that's going to end over the next couple of days once they're able to come out. Also, like Josh said, who's going to break the bubble first? You have players on the record that say they're either not going to go. Kawhi Leonard's not even in Orlando yet due to a family issue. Gordon Hayward here in Boston has said that he will leave Orlando for the birth of his fourth child when his wife goes into labor. So, those are all extenuating circumstances that will take you to this bizarre, 7 or 8 seeding games that they have to play. A round robin shootout that'll get you to the playoffs where it's 8-8 because the Western Conference is loaded. Thanks to the New York Knicks and a couple other teams. The Eastern Conference is not quite as well respected. So you have it's uneven right now. The scale tips for the Western Conference, but you have to get to 8-8 for the league to have a normal 8-8 playoff.
So actually, I had a question, Josh. When are the Knicks playing?
Probably in 2021.
Maybe
if you're lucky. Maybe Christmas Day. Although some breaking Knicks news for you guys, since this is a New York cast right now, Tom Thibodeau did interview for the Knicks job today. So,
did he?
I mean, that could be good news, or it could just ruin his career. One or the other.
Well,
bring back Van Gundy.
Yeah.
See?
Let's see what I can do here. Okay, and so we have Josh's bracket up on the screen. So without further ado, we'll get rolling with that here.
So, but with these seeding games now, who gets left off of this, Josh?
All right. So with the seeding games, this is where it gets interesting. The Eastern Conference, you have to, by the end of these 7 seeding games, you have to be within 4 games of the 8th place team to even be able to be that 9th place team to play in. So the Wizards are eliminated. They're already 5.5 games back. They're not going to catch the Magic. I think, in fact, the one thing that the East could provide us with is right now the standings, basically from the 4th seed all the way down to the 6th seed. It's 12 games back, 14 games back, 14 games back. They're within 2 games. So I think you're actually going to see some reseeding, some jumping of teams, but the 8-9 thing in the East is not going to matter. So you can count Washington out from the very start of things. Actually, I think where it gets interesting is where Miami, Indiana, and Philly all land, which is why in my bracket you see Philly jumps to 5, Miami stays at 4, Indiana pops back to 6, and I think that's what creates a really interesting first-round matchup with the Heat and the Sixers. On the Western side of things, I think we also have some interesting matchups that can pop around, but I think on the play-in side of things, this is where my surprise is. I actually predict somehow, some way, and I think it's a popular pick out there, the Pelicans are going to find a way to get back into the playoffs.
Hey, why is that?
I wonder why.
Because it's the NBA and it's almost as good as the WWE. They're going to find a way to get Zion into the playoffs. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, David Stern is still living fully live inside Adam Silver. It's going to happen. I promise you that. So we'll get the Pelicans in. I think looking at their schedule, actually, they probably out of their 7 games have 5 really winnable games. So I actually think that they're going to find a way to get there, and they'll top the Grizzlies to get into the 8th seed by getting 2 games in the play-in.
Where are we at here?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree on that. That would be very interesting. I mean, obviously the NBA has a vested interest in getting Zion into the game. I live in rural Massachusetts, and I'm watching kids go down the street in Zion Williamson jerseys. I was like, they probably couldn't find New Orleans on a map. If the NBA wants to come back and compete with 3 other sports, where to the point where MLS, you got people are tuning into games and EPL, and now you're going to have baseball coming back presumably at the end of the month, and then hockey at some point. I get it. I see it.
I totally agree. So do we want to start on the eastern side of the bracket, Jason?
I think that sounds about right there.
We'll save the good stuff for last. The West is always the better bracket.
That's what I prepared for anyway. So
I know, that's what Dan's all excited about.
All right. So starting in the East, obviously the Bucks are going to be the number 1 seed. That's not a question. That's not been a question all year. I actually think Brooklyn is going to file back into the 8th seed. I think currently right now they're in the 7th seed, but I think a quarter of their team's not even going to Orlando. So including DeAndre Jordan, obviously Kyrie, Kevin Durant, they're not coming back. There was rumors 2 months ago maybe they could do that since we're pushing this to the summer, but it's not going to happen. So Brooklyn's going to push back into the 8th seed. You're going to see the Magic kind of go into that 7th seed, but obviously Bucks, they're a juggernaut. They were probably on pace to get 67 wins this year. They're going to easily pass by the Nets in the first round in 4. Next up, you're going to look at the Heat and the Sixers. This is, like I said, if we can get seeding that ends up like this, which I think we really could, a Heat 76ers matchup could end up being a super competitive matchup. I think I could see this going 7. If you could ever get Simmons to learn how to do a jump shot, maybe these guys could clean clock the Heat, but I don't see it happening. But they will advance in 7. Looking down on the lower half of the bracket for the Eastern Conference, I have Celtics beating the Pacers in 5. I just don't see the Pacers giving them enough competition on that bracket. And kind of one thing of note as we get further into the playoffs, Hayward, it sounds like, just like it was mentioned earlier in the cast from Diamond Dan, he will leave the bracket once his kid's born, but it sounds like that expectation is going to be in September. So I say Celtics in 5 for the first round series. For
But the expectation, Josh, is that he would not come back, right?
Yeah, I don't believe he'll be coming back. Plus, if he leaves for a week or 2,
he can't come back. I don't think they'll let him.
He can't, right? Yeah.
So that'll be a problem for them on that one. But Raptors, Magic, Raptors in 4. So that'll clean out your Eastern Conference first round.
All right. There we go. So Bucks. So you got Bucks and Celtics.
So
you got the second round. Bucks beating the 76ers in 6, and then the Celtics beating the Raptors in 7. Anything remarkable out of those series?
I think Celtics Raptors is going to be a great series. You have the Raptors who have really great team chemistry coming off of last year. Even without Kawhi, they surprised a lot of people this year. But I think Celtics, with their playmakers in the playoffs, they're going to kind of push them over. Once you get into playoffs, you need a guy that can really hit shots at the end. The Celtics got 2 or 3 guys that can make that shot at the end of the game. So I really feel that they can get past that series. This will be the swan song for Hayward, as we mentioned, because after this series, I believe he'll probably be out of the bubble. So this is going to be the Celtics' edge to get into the conference finals.
Gotcha. And Bucks over Celtics in 7?
Bucks over.
Wait, we haven't talked because I have a point of contention over the quarterfinal matchup that Josh has here. If Joel Embiid stays in the bubble, the Sixers are going to be hard to beat. I trust the process. And it gets to a value play later on.
Hard to
I'm not
beat.
taking anything away from Giannis. And, it's Giannis and 6 other guys, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk. I mean, that's what Milwaukee is. So you're talking about a short season. You played 7 games. They're a great team, and they have great chemistry. They're not playing in Milwaukee. So please, enlighten us.
I mean, I think with their 3-point shooting, Giannis, they're going to be hungry. Giannis, I think, got humbled last year going against Kawhi and the Raptors in the conference finals. I think this is going to be the year where he pushes through. gets to the finals finally. This is when you're a juggernaut, you're a juggernaut. That 3-point shooting comes up clutch for them. And I just think with the Sixers, when it really matters, and I get it, they were this close. They were a shot away from advancing last year, that lucky Kawhi shot that bounced. But I think they still have some weaknesses with guys like Ben Simmons, and I really don't trust them in this setting yet. Maybe another year or so, if they'll still keep the team together after they fail this playoffs. But
Right.
I do feel that the Bucks are going to top them this year.
So that's our first agreement.
But what freaks me out about that is that the Bucks are the only team under 100 to win their conference. So the entire NBA. So if the money is so heavy over their minus 165, right, to win the Eastern Conference, that freaks me out. So I don't know. I mean, I like the Sixers, and I'm looking at, we'll talk about it later, but I'm looking at finals matchups, even just to get conference winners and whatnot, and there's no value in the Bucks, right? So
none at all.
I feel like if that's where the money is, that's to take the Belmont Stakes, for instance, that's it makes me very nervous.
So right there we have.
I mean, not that I don't agree with you.
You don't agree with him at all. That's what you're saying. So hold that bracket there then. So Josh has without the dollars on the table. I feel like I feel like I'm having deja vu. Josh, you have the 76ers. Josh has the Bucks. Are you guys in consensus about the Celtics over the Raptors or no?
Yes.
All right. So if you go to the Eastern
Conference, even if Hayward leaves, what's the other guy there? I'm blanking out. All I can think of is Kawhi Leonard at the moment. But Josh, help me out here. What the other guy?
Kemba Walker.
Thank you, Kemba.
Kemba and Tatum. You got two great playmakers there.
I think that they compensated all season. They played great basketball together. Even with Hayward in and out of the game and Kyrie gone, bitching somewhere else. I like the Celtics going to the final.
Yeah. All right, so let me give you two scenarios. So you've got Celtics Bucks or Celtics 76ers, depending on if Dan or Josh win that little agreement. So give me both scenarios, guys. Give me Celtics Bucks, Celtics 76ers. What do you think happens?
Ooh.
I mean, I think either way, the winner is coming from that top bracket. Yeah. I want the 76ers in the final. If the 76ers beat the Bucks, they will beat the Celtics.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it's Sixers, Celtics, like I said, I hate to say it with Hayward leaving, that would make a big difference, but it's 17 points a game. He is a big part of their team. It allows guys like Kemba and Tatum to do what they want to do, and Brown as well. But I would say if Sixers would probably topple the Celtics in that conference finals with Hayward out of the bubble.
Because they got the big guys down low.
Yeah, and if you look at their head-to-head this whole year, I think they played 2 or 3 games. The Sixers really had their number for most of those games, so I think it was like 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for the East, we've pretty much at a point where we're saying Bucks or 76ers, right? Is that where we're kind of at the moment between you two guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold the phone.
I want the Sixers in the finals. For other reasons.
Yeah, you may have a dollar or two on it. So
I'm trying to make like a self-fulfilling prophecy here.
No, and let's get to the West now, because the West is where you really are laying all your chips down, Dan. We've talked about it before. So let me do this. We'll pull up the Western bracket that Josh put together. We have Lakers and Pelicans. Josh says Lakers in 5, even with Zion in the playoffs. Dan, do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately for the NBA, in this bracket, you get the LeBron-Zion matchup in the first round. Then again, you get eyeballs, and then people start, people who may have look, the average American male is going to watch this regardless because it's on television, and it's not some bullshit dating show that's on Netflix that your wife is trying to make you watch. But if you have Zion and you have LeBron in the first round, that's all ESPN, or that's, all Adam Silver gives a shit about. If somehow in the workings of this, Silver could move New Orleans over into the Eastern Conference, he would do it, but he can't. So I think this is, 5 games is probably about right. I mean, the Lakers are just too stacked. And I mean, the fact that the Lakers have a closing roster of 6 guys that are interchangeable, that includes Rajon Rondo, is like mind blowing at this rate. For an NBA team, they can interchange guys in the last 2 minutes of a game around LeBron as they need. If they need the 3, they've got it. If they need down low, they've got it. Like LA they're stacked. I mean, and the numbers reflect that. I mean, they're plus 160 to win the conference as of this afternoon. They're the leaders in the clubhouse.
So we're consensus on Lakers against the Pelicans. So let's get down to the next bracket in the top half of the conference here for the West. Thunder, Rockets. Daniel, this is your team. Talk to us about your team.
All right, so here's the thing about the Rockets. We talked about it a little bit last week, right? You've got James Harden and you've got Russell Westbrook. Those are 2 guys that can give you 60 points a game if they had to. The Rockets are built for small ball. They're built for quick scores. There's no big man in the middle. They have they're a team that's built to be flexible. So that's why, and Oklahoma City is not. And Oklahoma City's best player is now in New Jersey, and their second best player is in Houston. So if you put all that together, the Rockets, 7 games, I don't know. I mean, I give them 6 games. The Rockets are a trendy pick. I'm on that. I don't think Oklahoma City can hang with them. I think the Rockets they're built for this type, and we've been talking about it for weeks now. The Rockets are built for this type of arrangement. They're built for a short run.
Josh, first round, you picked the Rockets as well. Anything to add for the Rockets?
Yeah, I think what makes this series interesting with the Thunder and the Rockets is just the familiarity with everybody. You're talking Westbrook was just with the Thunder. Chris Paul was just with the Rockets. That Thunder team led by Chris Paul this year is such a huge surprise. Nobody even expected them to probably come within, even the 7 or 8 seed this year. But yet here they are. They're going to be a 4 seed or even maybe a 5 seed if things play out differently. So I think it's got a potential to be a really great first round series, which the West tends to give us a couple of these every year.
Right, and I agree. I mean, no doubt. But the money right now, if you're looking at it from a gambling perspective, to win the championship, the Rockets are getting 1,200, and the Thunder are getting 10,000. Right, so no matter what, obviously gamblers don't see them. Well, maybe the Rockets, but not this. I mean, that doesn't do anything for this first round matchup, but they don't see Oklahoma City being able to get past LA.
Oh yeah.
So let's stick in the top.
If this were the bracket,
let's stay in the top half and just carry on with the Rockets and Lakers real quick, because this seems like this has the potential to be a barn burner of a series. So let's say Lakers, Rockets. Who's making it to the Western Conference Finals, Dan?
I mean. This is going to be one of these toss-up shootouts. I'm taking the Rockets on the money. And I just think, again, I don't need to explain myself again, that I think they're built for this kind of shit, and they're built for rapid-fire games. Not to say that LeBron and his, all these other guys that play in L.A., aren't. But, you're not playing at the Staples Center, and, you're playing in Florida and, in an arena with no fans. And, I like Mike D'Antoni. I like him as a coach. I like him. He's been in the league a long time. I think he can Rudy Tomjanovich the shit and get him over the Lakers in 6 or 7.
So, Josh, you don't agree. You've got the Lakers in your bracket making it to the conference finals. So why?
So this is a hard one for me because I think just like Dan's been talking about last week and now this week, Rockets are definitely, in my opinion, the hot money pick in the Western Conference. So you want to go with it. But I think looking at it from just a realistic point of view, playoff time, even if there's no fans in the stands, it's going to become time to lock down some people, especially in the fourth quarter. And I worry about the shooting of the Rockets. I worry about them going cold, especially if the Lakers start to actually lock down on people. And when you see, listen, I'm not a LeBron fan by any means, but when it comes to playoff time, the guy kicks it up a notch, especially the last few years. Even if nobody around him is doing anything, the guy will give you 50 points if he needs to. And I think the big question for the Lakers this year is Anthony Davis is playing his first meaningful playoff games. That will be their one question. If Anthony Davis shows up like he does every single regular season, nobody's going to stop them. But I think that's the only question mark for the Lakers is, can that star show up and be a star in the playoffs and make a name for himself? And if they do, I think that's what's going to push them over with a little defense as well.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. And that would be a marquee matchup that you got Westbrook and Harden and Davis and LeBron, right? And then everybody else. So, I mean, I haven't really watched a lot of NBA lately, but I would tune. I mean, I'm going to tune in for this anyway. But, I mean, it would be must-see TV.
So we're split on that. We'll hold that real quick and talk about the bottom half of the bracket. Hey, our resident Utah resident, that made no sense, Mr. Soriano. I'm just curious in your thoughts here. You got a Jazz Nuggets round. These are rivals, right? Like, is there a buzz in Utah? Does anyone care? What goes on over there?
You realize I grew up 3 houses down from you, right? I could care less about the Jazz.
You're not supposed to break kayfabe here. I need you in your role. I need you to embrace where you're at.
Okay, so every bleach tooth, blonde haired, Mountain Dew drinking Kyle on the block loves the Jazz, and they suck. And I say bleach tooth because you cannot drive the 1.5 miles from my house to Target without passing, and I shit you not, 7 dental offices.
Well, when you spend a year in Cambodia, you need some dental assistance.
You need dental work. Yes, I agree.
Oh my God.
Let's be honest, and I'm a big fan of nitrous oxide. So
I know I've gotten messages from you.
That's right. By the way, folks, send me your phone number, and next time I go get a crown, you will get some great videos. The Jazz,
you should start an OnlyFans site.
I'm not paying for that. I don't know what's going to be on the OnlyFans.
Somebody out there that will.
$3 a month.
Ryan Spellman will. He's already commented various things I can't put on the screen. I know Ryan will pay for an OnlyFans for you.
Listen, the Jazz are like going to the movies. You could get a couple of great seats for like $40. Take the wife and kiddies. It's a gorgeous arena that they gutted. I mean, it's not that new, but they just did the whole thing over. But I don't think they're ever going to get over the hump. Coach Q, they brought him over from the Spurs. Seems like they're going to be a bubble team for a long time. And I'm
Josh agrees, right? Denver, Josh.
Yeah, Denver for sure. And not to mention, let's call it what it is. The Jazz shut the NBA down in March, so they're always going to have that black mark on them. So that's just as bad as Atlanta losing 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. You're always going to be remembered for it now.
Well, what's really interesting?
Not for anything. We poisoned Michael Jordan, so
that's and they couldn't stop him, and he still won.
Matt, start your OnlyFans. Ryan is in.
Well,
the fact that, think about that, on March 11th or 12th or whatever it was, there were fans in the seats. They were ready to, that game was about to start, and all of a sudden it was I was in Washington. I was on a work assignment at that time, and it was where's the ball game? And they just showed people, and then the panic just set in right after that, and that was it. And then the NHL thing
NBA. Within a week, the sports were done.
No, I mean, it was 24 hours. Because then the next night it was oh, no, the NHL, we can't have games while players could potentially get sick. I mean, 2 guys, and then the whole uproar was, how did these guys get tests and nobody else can? Not going to go down that road right now, but it was what just happened? And then before you even know it, by the time I got back into my house, it was over. That was it.
The whole world came crashing down that night. That was it.
I mean, everybody knows Rudy Gobert is part of the deep state. You know.
Oh, totally.
Thank you for validating my conspiracy.
He knew what he was doing, touching all those microphones a couple days earlier and
Right,
spreading them out. Yeah. By the way, since I've had this control interface with Seth being on assignment, I can see how many people are watching. I think it's the highest it's ever been in the last 3 episodes. You've had 9 people are tuning in right now.
They're all degenerate gamblers, and they want to know because the NBA is coming back.
You know, they see the screen, they see there's the bracket up there, and that gets people excited, right?
Well, OTB and Nanuet burned down too, so they have nowhere to go.
That's terrible.
All right,
all right. So Denver consensus last round, last game bracket in the first round. Clippers Mavericks. Dan, what? Josh has the Clippers. What do you have?
Kawhi over Godzingis. That's it. Done. Move on.
Exciting team. Dallas is going to give you a couple of wins just because of that super exciting European offense, but that's about it. They're not going to pass.
Yeah, they've got they're like the Soviet
European offense. What is this? Hockey? Wrong sport. Hockey's next week.
Yeah.
We're doing hockey.
Got a bunch of guys that have like 17 fucking vowels in their names on top of Porzingis, and then they got a really cool owner. I don't know if you've heard about him, but Kawhi and the Clippers are the show in town. So next.
Some of us have a lot of vowels in our name.
So we've got bottom half of the bracket here. We have Nuggets, Clippers. Josh has the Clippers. Dan, what do you have?
I'd say the Clippers go on. Yeah, that's right.
Anything remarkable about the series? Or not so much?
No, I don't. The Denver Nuggets are kind of like watching the Patriots play in the last 3 years. You know, they're going to go out there, they're going to play their game, and they're not going to talk about it. And you know, it's pretty boring, to be honest with you. This isn't like you know, the run and gun 90s. I think the Clippers are just too much razzle dazzle for them.
Okay, so this is Western Conference Final. You guys have different picks. So Josh, you've got Clippers, Lakers, the Battle of Los Angeles. Run us through that series.
I think Battle of Los Angeles. This is what's been talked about since last year on like July 5th when Kawhi decided to go to the Clippers instead of the Lakers. So obviously he goes to the Lakers. They're going to shut down the NBA for the next couple of years. He decides to go to the Clippers. We've been waiting for this. I think all of LA was waiting for this. Well, now it's going to be played in Orlando, so it's not really a hallway series anymore. But I think Lakers at the end of the day, what kind of clinches it for them. I don't trust Paul George down the stretch. I look at a guy like LeBron to carry the Lakers beyond a team like the Clippers. I don't see the Clippers getting into the finals with that team. Great defense, great players, but Kawhi, I feel, is going to fall to James and to Anthony Davis, plus some of those guys on the bench.
Okay, so you've got Lakers. So Dan, whoever you are, Clippers for you against the Rockets.
Yeah.
Run us through the way you think that goes.
If you took all of what Josh, the Red Sox fan, just said and applied that to a non-big guy, small ball, like if you look at – remember when Butler had all that success back in the NCAAs with Brad Stevens, 10, 15 years ago? It was because, they had one – they had a big guy, but he kind of played low post, or he could move, he could shoot threes, whatever. That's what you're getting with James Harden. That's what you're getting with Russell Westbrook. These guys are I just think that, I'm playing the hot money here, like Josh, the Red Sox fan, said. And, they could, Kawhi and George, fuck them, whatever. Let's go. Let's put our plus 4,000 that we locked in a month and a half ago to the test here and see if the Rockets can run the table. That's all. I mean, we're talking here about a shootout, right? And, I mean, the teams are all known. And they haven't played basketball in 4 months, and they've, they're going to have 2 exhibition games, I think, right, per team, and you don't know. So you got the Rockets and you got the Bucks, and the Rockets win the tournament. Or no, I'm sorry, you got the Rockets and the 76ers, by the way, from Diamond Dan's point of view, plus 8,000 for that finals matchup. That is a value pick. But just for edification. The Rockets and the Celtics are plus 6,000, and for a favorite pick, the Bucks and the Lakers are plus 310. Okay, so $310 for your $100 bet or $8,000 for your $100 bet. Which one do you want to get value out of? Depends on how much you want to wager, right? But I like the 76ers. I like the Rockets in this weird-ass shootout that no one's played basketball in 4 months. And, who knows? I mean, the Rockets are down to plus 1,200. If you go in order, right, in the Western Conference, the Lakers are plus 240 to win. The Clippers are plus 330. That's with Kawhi and all that. And then you get into the weeds here. The Nuggets are plus 2,500. The Jazz are 3,300. The Rockets are 1,200, and the Thunder are 10,000, and it gets kind of seedy after that.
That Rockets bet is that's good. That's right in the wheelhouse.
If you're looking at a middle of the river value bet on the Western Conference, that's it.
So Dan has spoken. Rockets all the way to be your NBA champions.
Would you frame that?
Josh, we have for you.
I will
Lakers.
frame it. I bought the hat.
He spent money on Corona purchasing, buying another hat.
As it turns out, just so if there are people listening that like to buy shit, fanatics, they're giving stuff away.
He's in a competition with Seth. How many hats can you buy during quarantine?
I bought a fucking MLS jersey during quarantine. Let's be
You know what I just bought? I just bought a pet a water. Hold on. So when you walk your dog,
I just gave a really good explanation why the Rockets are going to win the NBA championship, and you're showing us something you bought for your
dog. And then we're talking about Corona purchases, and I just bought a dog water thing that you do during the walk, and you're buying hats.
You don't walk your dogs. You let them out in the backyard.
See?
I've been going to the park lately. I've been going to the park.
She's got a Fanatics order coming tomorrow. That's a keeper right there, Josh, the Red Sox fan.
Uh-oh.
Good job. There you go.
Uh-oh. What are you getting?
Oh,
what are you getting?
It's probably a fucking Rockets hat. She took my advice.
Save the money and just go frickin' bet in Vegas.
So, Josh.
Come to New Hampshire. Come up with me. I got to go up there tomorrow anyway.
It's a big poppy shirt.
Paul.
Face mask.
Are you calling me fat?
Face mask. Wow. Oh my gosh.
So, guys, to wrap this
Rockets face mask.
Do you think that this goes off without a major virus issue, like an entire team quarantine or something like that? Do you guys think this will go off without a major disruption? Final question.
Yes, I think there's going to be two key points in this whole bubble scenario. I think when this first starts, that's going to be the first test. And then I think the second test is going to be when the families come in. Once you start having families for those
the wives are going to get everyone sick.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if all right, here's my opinion. I agree. The wives probably going to make everybody sick. It's the kids. But MLS has kicked off. NBA is going to tip off. Maybe MLB is different because they're traveling, but because all these teams are in the same place, if they tip that season off, they are going to finish, and they don't give a fuck because they are now invested on television.
But they
no. Listen. NASCAR, okay, their best driver in the last 15 years, all right, tested positive for COVID, and they cleared him in 6 days. All right, he missed one race in his last season, and they're like, you know what? The guy that sat in this seat is a jerk off, and he crashed the car. Jimmy's okay. Put him back in the car for Kentucky this weekend. You know why? Because people want to fucking watch that shit. And that's why people are going to tune in. And they've got all these contracts, and ESPN is bought in. You can't turn ESPN on in the last fucking 72 hours without seeing, these guys, blow LeBron James. All right? This is going to happen.
Hey, Jimmy, we made room for an oxygen tank in your back seat. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Just get in the seat.
That's it.
So, Robert, thanks for watching.
Do you have a fever? I see a 4 looks a lot like a 1 when you make that 100.4.
Here, eat some ice cream.
Really
eat some ice cream. You'll cool down.
Exactly. Here, you take this bath. You'll feel fine.
Listen, there's been
and these guys don't give a fuck. Look at what's going on in the EPL. All right? Those guys are touching each other. They're jumping on each other. All this. They're wearing masks on the side. It doesn't matter. If they're on the field, they're playing. The first English Premier League soccer games that ever played on the British Broadcasting Corporation were a week and a half ago. Do you think they're going to take that away from people in the, there's 4 games left in the EPL. Do you think if somebody tests positive, they're going to stop the whole league? Come on.
Well, and here's the other side of it too, though, is they're losing 40% off the NBA revenue share from not being able to have fans in the stands. They're going to protect that 60% because that 60% is going to affect the salary cap next year. So
they're so all in on this. It doesn't like they're going
to finish no matter what. It's going.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know. Do you think a team ends up in a serious quarantine? They're going to complete it no matter what.
This goes back to what Josh, the Red Sox fan, was saying before.
That always makes me laugh. I love that we named him Josh the Red Sox man.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, when Gordon Hayward leaves, right, that just changes the scenario. So, okay, you take him out of the league, you take him out of the equation. Look right now, like the Red Sox are not going to. So if we, Eduardo Rodriguez, positive COVID test, right? So now he is doing games here in Boston. So there is no Chris Sale, there's no Eduardo Rodriguez. I don't even know who the fuck else is in the pitching staff here in Boston, right? But they're going to move forward. It doesn't matter. You just take that piece out of the puzzle.
Solely from Plymouth pitch.
Florida's in such
Exactly.
that just by mailing a postcard to the state, you're going to get fucking COVID. But another X factor to these guys fucking up is that there's probably 200,000 unemployed strippers in the Orlando metro area. And all these guys
They're coming from Tampa.
These guys are going to be in one spot. It's literally going to be a delivery service.
Who's going to stop them from going to the rooms? Right? Nobody. How do you do that?
But these
Disney's
girls,
all about commerce.
they've been in the state of Florida, which is the worst spot on the entire planet right now for COVID.
Wait. Well, I'm close.
You guys are like neck and neck. But right now, today, as of this minute, Florida's worse.
It's the great COVID race.
They just dumped all these athletes who, for I don't know what reason, like strippers, into Disney World of all places. And
if you think about it, all of these repressed dads are at Disney all the time anyway. So do you think that Ruby and Daisy don't know where room 112 is at the Rock and Roll All-Star thing? Come on,
Dan, you need to have a daughter. There's no Ruby. Even I know that.
Whatever. I don't know.
Oh my god.
There we go. That's gonna blow it all up.
Goodness gracious.
And Eric is right.
All right. Josh, the Red Sox fan, thank you for your basketball analysis this evening. We will see you soon. And be safe.
Wait. Who does Josh, the Red Sox fan, have winning the whole thing? The Lakers?
Lakers are going to win this one. This is going to be LeBron's last one. That's it. He's done. Hunger's over.
Your wife is she's a funny gal.
Yeah, I keep her around for the comedy and the cooking.
Yeah, no, Courtney can cook.
Mush, your friend Crystal is not commenting live, but apparently she said it's impossible that the wives are bringing COVID into the NBA village. We have to blame it on the strippers. So apparently we're not being very polite. But
you're giving them the out.
What's that?
I said we gave them the out. We're like, okay, before the families get there, all the hookers are going to be there. They're coming down the I-4 from fucking Tampa.
I mean, we're underrating this. I'm pretty sure Adam Silver put together this 100-page plan that nobody has read completely through. And on the back pages, he's a players commissioner. He's probably already got this planned out. You guys are overthinking this. Strippers are already ready to go.
Uh-oh.
Look, how do you keep
You're in trouble now.
How do you keep your players happy? How do you even get them to, you know what, Josh, the Red Sox fan, that's a great point. How do you even talk these guys into going into this bubble, right? How you're like, okay, you have to work out your contract and you talk to the union and all that other shit. There has to be some kind of ulterior hook, right?
Well, exactly. They've been locked up with their families for 3 months. They need to break loose a little bit, but they can't leave the bubble. So we got to.
There's only so many ABC like sing-along specials you can do before you're like, shit, I need to make some fucking money and play basketball.
So new betting line. What's the betting line on? Is there going to be more COVID tests in the bubble or more STD tests in the bubble?
Ooh.
Well, they're going to test COVID, every other day?
Close.
So, yeah, I'd still go with COVID.
Okay.
COVID's going to happen more frequently, but I think the STD test will be.
But remember, that goes away. Herpes doesn't go away. So they told me.
Hey, Mush, get on to the next segment.
All right.
I have some
Josh.
good notes.
Yeah, Jason, you're the worst fucking moderator in the history of the internet.
You're worse than Baba Booey.
Hey, tall.
Josh, the Red Sox fan. We'll see you soon. Have a good night, sir.
I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your night, okay?
Excellent job. Excellent.
That was
good.
outstanding. That was great. That was great. Loved it. Loved it. Okay.
We need to have Mrs. Red Sox fan on one day with
We do.
or is it Mrs. Cox? Since they're the Cox together, Are they
Cox.
singular separately.
It's the
Are
Courtney.
the Cox?
It's Cox.
Right,
Cox.
because-
The
Are the
Coxes.
Cox? Are
The
the Cox
Coxes.
The cocks are together. They touch each other.
together as a
But they
couple?
sleep.
Together as a couple.
Brian's not wrong.
All right, let's go. Come on. What's next?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, it's time for MLB Summer Camp. In-depth reporting from Mr. Soriano from Mets Camp.
My drunkenness is brought to you by the good people at Blends, by the way.
the good news about Mets Camp right now, not to mush it, there's no COVID. There's no COVID in the Mets camp. That's all I know. So give us
give me any good news about the Mets.
If you don't have food.
go right into it. Give us what you got. That's what she said.
So, all right. Ioannis raised the apple today. So that's good. They said Ioannis has been a monster. I don't know if that's my anus or Ioannis.
Over under. I got a quiz for you.
On his home runs?
No, games in the
Connecticut.
games in the outfield. Over under 30.
Oh, under. Way under.
I agree. Dan?
Wait, what was the question? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Yoenis Cespedes, 30 games over under outfield in the outfield.
Over.
Over.
First.
Wow.
They'll play
That's
first base.
That would be bad, but okay.
You're going to stick him at first base with Alonso, who could easily play 60 games.
Sorry, I'm too busy reading the comments. I apologize.
I'll put him on the screen.
I'm not. I have no insight into the Mets. Talk to fucking Mr. Soriano about this. I don't want to.
My anus raises the apple every day. Ioannis. Yes, Tara, we're talking about Ioannis.
But now Ioannis.
Not Ioannis. We're talking
All
about
right. Cespedes, he hit a home run today.
Ioannis raised the apple today.
Who did he hit it off of?
He hit it off of. Oh fuck! I'm drunk now.
The bullpen catcher. Nobody cares.
Oh, he hit it off of their setup guy. He looks a little bit like you, Dan, but he's got a.
So he's a handsome son of a bitch.
He is. He's a really good looking.
I was
guy.
going to say Dylan Betances, but Dan doesn't look like Betances.
He does not look like
No. Tyler Clippard.
What? No.
Yours familiar.
I got a great Tyler Clippard story.
Seth Lugo.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Just because I'm wearing a soccer jersey doesn't mean I'm Central American.
Well, no, he's actually American, and I have an offline Seth Lugo. You're gonna want to look like Seth Lugo, but there's kids watching, so Conforto looks locked in. Everybody, you gentlemen, your favorite Met, Brandon Nimmo. This is all news for you boys, but he got hit by a pitch yesterday and sprinted to first.
Oh, wait. I have an over-under. Brandon Nimmo, 8 hit by pitches this season.
Over.
Over. Yeah, I agree. Okay.
The guy almost stands on the other side of the plate.
It's ridiculous.
He's like Roger Dorn.
Lead into this one. No, Dorn didn't want to lead into it. Remember, they talked to me.
What are any issues here in the first week of summer camp? We got any concerns?
No, wait, I got good stuff here. I actually opened up OneNote for this shit. And I don't even know how to use that fucking program.
I don't even know what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
One of those useless ones in the Microsoft suite. But I see somebody else who's stalking me on here with Crystal. She uses it all the time. She's pretty smart. So McNeil says he wants to win the batting title. A lot of the guys in New York media say that he could easily hit 400. Apparently, he leads the Mets Cookie Club, where after every game, these guys eat 4 like those monster craft cookies and then chug 2 milks.
What the hell?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
I don't know.
Howie Rose did a big interview in the Post on Sunday. He did that Serby Q&A that Steve Serby does.
Jesus.
He's not wrong. Like, Brandon Nimmo gets on base, but the guy's kind of – he's from Wyoming, for Christ's sake. He just talks about Peter – okay, Lindsey Brown says she does not use OneNote. Okay, well, you're smart. All right, what the fuck you want from me?
I don't know. We're off the rails. Where are we?
So
Lindsay with an IE. I like that.
Yeah. Not AY. Stay away from the AYs.
Oh, the EYs are even worse.
Yeah, well, Lindsay Lohan. Don't forget. So he just talks about, Alonso being so young, how he handles New York media, how he's been embraced by the fans, just really tuned in. Talks about him and DeGrom being, really up there. Speaking of DeGrom, 2-time Cy Young winner. Jesus Christ, I got to slow down drinking. Totally locked in. Matz, they say he's been looked better than he has throughout his career. This is actually his 3rd spring training. Hey, Frankel, fucking give me a reach around, will you? Shut the hell up about the Mets. He trained pretty heavy before spring training. They say he looks really sharp. He's the only lefty on the squad. He is the 2nd pitcher on the squad, along with the little guy from Toronto, to graduate from Long Island's Patchogue Medford High School, where all of my cousins on Long Island graduate from. So it must be fucking decent. And then Michael Wacha from the Cardinals, who had a really shitty season last year, is looking to rebound. He's got an incentive-laden contract. Now to some fun stuff.
I have a question for you.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
I have a question for you. Ed Luz Diaz, blown saves over under 6.
I think he's going to have a very quick hook. I'm going to say under.
Over 6 in a 60-game season would be awful.
Would be terrible. I think it's going to be under because they've got, and I can't remember his name again, Familia.
Familia's not that great.
Well, hold on, let me finish. I thought of Frank the Tank there for a second, saying, I hate Familia. You've got Familia, Lugo, Betances that could all close, in addition to Diaz. Plus, you have a manager with a brain. So,
Most likely. More than Mickey Callaway had, sure.
Well, I say if this guy, look, every closer's gonna blow a save. If this guy blows one, okay. After the second one, you gotta give him a yank, and that's it. Get rid of him.
All right, so under 6 for that. Okay. Pete Alonso, home runs over under 25.
You asked me this last week, and the number was 30.
So you're saying 30
over last week. I said he's
over 30. Okay. Yikes.
Listen, he had
over 30 would be, but that would be an over 60 home run season. I mean, that's not. I don't know.
Okay, hear me out. He hit 30 in before July 1st last year.
I mean, it's aggressive. It's aggressive is all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Now, Very important date for all of us. September 11th, Citi Field. And as we all know, the closer field to Ground Zero, Mets Yankees. Something wrong with your neck, Jason? Mets Yankees, 9/11 game. We all remember the great HBO special, 9 innings from Ground Zero. Great special. Remember, video of Bobby Valentine down at the pit. I don't remember Joe Torre there, but I remember Bobby Valentine.
Well, the Yankees didn't publicize their stuff. The big difference is you didn't know they were there.
It wasn't publicity. It wasn't publicity because I didn't see it till the documentary came out. Maybe that's why Joe Torre doesn't want anybody wearing first responder hats like the FDNY New York Mets hat I have in the New York Mets.
Shame on Joe Torre for that.
Why Joe Torre?
So, where we're getting with this is this.
Hold on. Wait, right. Hold on, Spell. Relax. Go say a novena. What I'm saying is that Joe Torre, and this goes back to Pete Alonso being a good leader. Alonso bought all those guys customized cleats with FDNY and the paramedics, which, you of all people should be really for, and NYPD. And the guy did the right thing, and he was willing to pay the fines for everybody. And Torre needs to get his shit together. But it was Mike Piazza who brought the country together. Definitely not Paul O'Neill, crybaby. Okay. It was Mike Piazza.
Or Derek Jeter or Scott Brosius.
Right. Well, Scott Brosius was another guy who never took a called strike. But it's going to be a fantastic game.
So we have a new documentary coming out.
That's
30
right.
for 30 is announced today that ESPN is going to work on a 30 for 30 for the 86 Mets.
Sponsored by
why we're doing that?
And AA.
It's going to be published for the second wave, and it will be the second wave Last Dance, and it will be outrageously amazing. They should make a Broadway show about these guys. What was it? The Bad Guys Won. Just like they made a thing about Hamilton and Ron Chernow's book, they should make a thing about the Bad Guys Won.
If you whether you're a Met fan or Yankee fan, or if you want to hear about the Red Sox losing or you're a Red Sox fan, read The Bad Guys Won. It's a great read, especially if you're a fan of drinking or
beating the shit out of people in bars.
Yeah, young shortstops getting thrown through plate glass windows.
Personal confidence, come and beat us.
That's right.
Those are, if you're an American, you should read that book.
I mean,
your star player sniffing the foul lines.
Right. Smoking in the dugout. If you want to learn, kids,
Evan Mitchell,
how to perfect the hot foot, an art form.
That's a lost art.
Art
Fernandez.
form that nobody can do today. Can you even crawl under a dugout bench anymore?
No one even knows how to do it. That's the problem. This stuff has been lost.
Nobody shoots bubble gum anymore.
Right.
And nobody has
matches. Now you can't. You can't even shoot gum in the
who smokes cigarettes in the dugout anymore anyway?
I mean, it's amazing. It's such a great.
We'll never have Lenny Dykstra on the show. Well, sorry, Jason, I can't speak for you. Sorry. Lenny Dykstra, he's turned on his players.
Lenny is Lenny's got another off the.
But you're lucky because Lenny Dykstra has now been associated with the Phillies, so all of his failures are being associated with the Phillies.
Yeah, but that should be the 30 for 30 series. Is I'm yet to see a bad one. There's a great one on the Knicks championships of the 70s. Obviously, the two Bills was great. The OJ series.
Where they
prove his innocence.
So that June 17th, 1994 show.
Oh my God,
it was amazing.
Masterpiece of TV. Masterpiece. Yeah. So they can't do any wrong here. This is going to be awesome, and we'll talk about it whenever it comes out. I mean, we're probably a ways away. They haven't even started production on it yet. So.
And it is produced by Jimmy Kimmel.
Really?
Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel grew up in Las Vegas, but he's born in Brooklyn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Lenny Dykstra's on Cameo, is he? Matt, can you try to get something for next week for Dykstra?
I will work. I'm working on Frank the Tank.
Okay.
I will work on Dykstra, and if Josh could work on Buckner.
Oh,
Did Buckner die?
No, he's still alive. It's
I
good.
I think he did die, actually.
Also,
ombudsman moment, Trevor Hoffman is a righty.
Oh, he was screwed up last week.
We qualified him as a lefty.
Franco is the number one lefty.
I will also say that, Eric, you are right. Catholics versus convicts was the best 30 for 30 so far. Jimmy Johnson.
The other Jimmy Johnson.
Because the other Jimmy Johnson. Because The Last Dance was not considered a 30 for 30. So Catholics versus convicts, and June 17th, which is my younger son's birthday, not in 1994 because I was in middle school, but it's exceptional television.
So I can't wait for that. So we're gonna transition here. I got most of your Mets information.
We're transitioning again.
We are again. And
Do you want that K-Wop breaking news or no?
Oh yeah. We've got breaking news, and I don't have a breaking news theme for it. So
Yeah, so here, hold on. My roving reporter, Mike. So today was the deadline to get bids in to buy the Mets. I was a little shy because my betting streak has been very cold. But apparently, according to Fox Business News, Steve Cohen is the favorite of the Wilpons. So I don't know what that means, but basically all the bidders have been told to look at Steve Cohen's bid, and if you want to be competitive, add $200 million to it.
interesting.
So it's not about prestige; it's just about the money for these fuckers. Huh?
Well, I mean, should there be any doubt? As a Mets fan, I want A-Rod. We want to bring him back home where he belongs.
You want J-Lo.
No, she's from the Bronx. He's from Washington Heights, where a lot of our fan base.
You need Vinny Chase to come through and buy the Mets.
I don't think the MLB wants Steve Cohen to be the owner of the Mets, but at the end of the day, if he ponies up the most cash, it's going to happen. That's the way it goes.
Yes.
That's it. That goes to the highest bidder, really, unless there's a serious ethical issue. I don't think MLB has enough to really veto this down.
I will be very thankful if the Devils owners do not end up with this. I do not want to be associated with the Devils and the 76ers.
All right, here's the deal. I'll give you three. You could do Steve Cohen, the A-Rod group, or Jim Dolan.
A-Rod, hands down. Yeah, here's the thing about Dolan, and he gets a bad rap because of the Knicks. He runs the Rangers very well.
Because he doesn't get involved.
Right. I don't know. It's like, will he be NHL Jim Dolan? Will he be NBA Jim Dolan?
Nobody
Here's
knows.
the thing. If you get an owner with the pockets of a Steinbrenner, National League Baseball in New York can really be on fire, and he's a narcissist, so he might want to be involved. A-Rod, I want him to be involved.
He will be. A-Rod's going to be on the field hitting fungos, okay? And he's going to be getting to know players and having influence in their career, okay?
But he was an athlete.
Yes.
Here's a young, good-looking couple with deep pockets who know the sport. Well, he does. And
he's obsessed with baseball.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that J-Lo knows the sport, too.
She knows the sport, all right.
Didn't she date Derek Jeter, too? Are they?
That's one of the few he didn't date.
Are they in the same pond?
No. They're not Eskimo brothers.
Oh no, that's Mariah Carey he dated, right?
Yes. And 12 other actresses and singers.
Greatest starting nine in the baseball history.
Yeah, right. Listen, the Mets need a transformer for the franchise, kind of like Optimus Prime, transformer. And they need someone who's going to go in there and make a meaningful cultural change. Steve Cohen's just there for buying the team, that own a team. Dolan.
Steve Cohen grew up a Mets fan.
Do you think that I don't see.
From
it's all
Long
about
Island.
the money. It's all about the money. don't let it too much of a wild card. A-Rod will get this franchise where it needs to be. I think so.
Steve Cohen will? Or
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
I don't think Cohen's going to be a visual involved guy. Now, at least not like A-Rod. A-Rod's going to be at another level.
Here's what the best part.
A-Rod's going to make Mark Cuban look like a freaking Mickey Mouse guy.
If A-Rod won the bid, the absolute best part would be not winning the World Series, but beating the shit out of Jeter's team in every aspect of the game, not just like fan base and wins and losses and prestige.
Listen, I know
he owns that team with the Carnival cruise ship in the outfield.
They got rid of that thing. But Derek Jeter, and I know he inherited a crappy organization, but he has not been impressive.
He didn't inherit it. He bought it.
Right. He made a choice. He bought it. And so far, major dud. He's had some terrible interactions with the media. He's treated his own internal staff poorly, not making good relations. He's not been impressive. Hot take. I don't know if that's hot. It's true.
Didn't he also hire Barry
The best
Bonds?
movie he made was giving Stanton to the Yankees.
Yeah. Speaking of Yankee camp, let's talk about Giancarlo Stanton's week.
Well, let's talk about Yankee camp really quick. It's been quiet in Yankee camp, and that's good.
Nope.
There's one COVID concern of the guy you don't want to have it. He's your best all-around hitter in DJ LeMahieu MVP. He does not have symptoms, and they're hopeful he'll be ready for opening day. That is your best all-around hitter and 5-2 player on that baseball field. Yankees cannot afford for him to be out of the lineup, right, Dan?
I agree, but the story so far of the inter squad games they've had is Clark Schmidt.
I agree. I saw that today.
That, his pitching performance against the Yankees' natural lineup was incredible. Granted, all you have to do is throw outside curveballs and sliders. But you got Florial out there playing against the Yankees 9. And you have what's interesting about the, most fans like us don't get to see what a normal simulated game or a spring training non-competitive ticketed game looks like, right? So, when Yes is putting these games on, SNY putting the Mets games on, you don't have infielders, you don't have outfielders. You have guys taking long toss in the outfield while there's live pitching going on, right? Or your starters are going through their motions. I mean, Paxton Happ looked great in the first game, but the story, Clark Schmidt outpitched J.A. Happ.
And here's why it's important.
Yeah.
With Tanaka, there's not a lot of time to be ready for the season. It seemed like it's a mild concussion after getting the 110-mile-an-hour line drive off his dome. But if he's not ready, you got to, Jordan Montgomery's probably making the rotation. But I think the most important pitchers to watch are Schmidt and Montgomery right now. The back end of that rotation will make the difference.
Yeah, with an extended roster, you've got, Clark Schmidt came out here and he shut the lights off. It was great. And then, everybody's been protective of Florial over the last 2 years, in terms of trades. And I like, the fact that they're getting him out there. Andahar in left field, as Eric said, I'd put him out there. When LeMahieu comes back, you just don't have a place for him, so you put him out there. You have a DH, obviously. So
I have a note. Actually, funny that you bring up Andujar, and so does Eric here with an over/under. He dropped the ball today in the sun. I don't know if you saw that. He missed the baseball today in the sun in the outfield. So I have an over and under actually on errors for Andujar. That could be outfield. It could be third base. 7 over under 7. Dan, errors for Andujar.
Over.
Oh, that would be a lot of errors in a 60-game season. Wow.
Yeah, well, but you need his bat.
Get him a bigger glove.
You need his bat.
Get him a glove.
I don't think the glove matters. He can't even see the baseball in the sun.
Did he use 2 hands? Like my dad taught me?
Two hands.
Nobody catches with 2 hands anymore. It's a lost art. I'm concerned.
The Yankees, if they stay healthy, are so deep, it doesn't matter where.
But here's the problem with this. It would be great if he could be the DH. The problem is you got Stanton. who's made of glass, who needs to be the DH. So Stanton, I am much like Cespedes there, Ioannis. Dan, Stanton games in the outfield 20 over or under for Stanton. Under. See that puts Andujar in the field all season. That's a different
but it brings that because you could have Florial come up from that.
Florial's not joining. Florial's not ready to be playing in the major leagues. He has taken a step back the last 2 seasons. He's nowhere close. Aaron Hicks is in. Gardner, Florial. There's no room for Florial. Where's he playing? Even if he was ready.
They have expanded rosters. I would put him in there. I would give him a try.
He has no path to a spot. And don't forget, Aaron Judge may have to DH too. He has half a rib missing.
You have Judge. You have Frazier. You have Hicks. You have any number of guys you could put. You could even take the outfielders out. So I don't care.
I forgot about Frazier.
Really?
You're assuming that Judge is going to make it a whole season.
Who gets hurt first? Stanton, Judge, or Sanchez?
Stanton.
Judge, you're assuming Judge could be a really good and effective DH, but with a rib injury, swinging a bat's going to be a bitch.
They say he's okay, but I worry about that injury. I do worry about that injury. I really do.
Why?
Do we have a correspondent up at Bosco?
They have no incentive to rush him back. That's all I'm saying. If he's playing in the preseason, whatever this is, exhibition, inter-squad games, and he feels good, fine. He's still not going to be able to hit the outside pitches. He couldn't do it.
Definitely on the 40-man. No, I'm concerned.
Yes. Yeah, Frazier is on the 40-man roster. Yes. I mean, I don't know if Hicks takes him off of it, but
Garrett, I tell you what, Garrett Cole is on another level. Did you hear him after the game? After the game the other day, I wanted to win. It's an inter-squad game in frickin' July, and this guy's nuts.
He's giving quotes to the New York Post. He's never pitched this live inning in New York.
Garrett, this is Garrett Cole. Everyone says this is the way he acts. It's not a show. That's nuts. Great.
But he also folded like a 10 against the fucking Nationals. So I don't, in game 7 of the fucking World Series.
Of all of the issues that you come up with, Garrett Cole should not even be on the radar as an issue at all. He's going to be fun to watch.
What he needs to do is go out there and pitch a half an inning and then get him out of there. If he's ready, he's ready. Save him for the regular season.
You sure this guy's ready for this is going to be an easy season for him because he doesn't have to play in front of the animals from the South Bronx.
Oh yeah, no, it helps.
The idiots in Boston, but even then, he's still got to deal with the New York media and worse, the fans on social media.
Well, to that point, Matt, I would say that he has done a very nice job with the New York media so far. Like his wife had the baby and all that other stuff. Like, when you got Phil Mushnick eating out of your hand, like that's good.
I was a Yankee fan
that's also without ever throwing a live pitch in New York. So you haven't had to go out there and face, JD Martinez in the bottom of the 7th inning or whatever it is when you're out of gas and you have 110 pitches.
He gets it. He was a Yankee fan. He knows what he's got to do.
I'm a Yankee fan. I get it. It's
he has handled the media, but not during the season. And Mush, the guy was a Yankee fan growing up. Where in the tri-state area did he live?
Fucking Westchester.
Wow.
Well, so does it matter?
I mean, I'm just saying, it's not like he was like a pressure cooker fan.
You know how many synagogues he had to drive through on Long Island to get to fucking Yankee Stadium?
He had a really fucking cool sign at Yankee Stadium that one day, okay?
Yeah, they made a T-shirt out of it, and then they brought it back for his signing ceremony.
Where do you get that T-shirt? Which play? Where do you get it from? I need it.
Fanatics.com. Ask Courtney Cox. She'll tell you.
Courtney, put up the link
to the actual shirt so we can.
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to the line? All right. The Yankees are good. Let's move on.
So nobody's.
Where's live?
I have no. Nobody's interested.
I'm getting a lot of angry text messages. Maybe one of the haters wants to get on live and start yelling at me, or you, Jason.
And we can break through anytime. Crystal says, "Get your shirt on eBay." I don't think she's right. Probably wrong. So we will go on to our most fun segment we did for about 6 weeks in a row. Start, bench, cut. And so, Mr. Soriano, you watch the show. You know what this is all about, right?
Can we go back to mascots and stadiums? Because I have some opinions about some of the shit you guys talked about.
We got some better shit for you tonight.
You can't
Dan,
relive
how could you pick Citizens Bank Park over City Field? What, dude?
I hate City
Come
Field.
on.
Can't stand it. It's too big.
It's got a Shake Shack and a Blue Smoke, and all the seats are.
Yeah, you know what else?
Shake
Shack and Blue Smoke, Nationals Park.
I'll tell you, Citizens Bank is a good place to watch a game. It's small, it's intimate.
Can you get a new set of Michelins?
I feel like the smartest guy in the place when I'm there. That's like
Your brake pads done during the 7th inning stretch.
They don't have cannoli from Mamas of Corona at.
all right, I'll give you that one.
All right,
But you can't get a pork sandwich down the street from City Field.
So here's our first one of the night.
Oh boy!
Start, bench, cut. Whataburger, In-N-Out, or Shake Shack.
Oh, I've never been a Whataburger.
Oh man,
you just don't fucking remember it.
Bro, that was a rough night. That was
You sat there waiting for whatever you ordered.
I need a clarification. Are we talking about burgers, fries, or the whole meal?
The as an entire entity. I know it's a tough one, but as an entire entity, well, because burgers, fries, you gotta.
I cannot. And shame me for what it's worth, but I hate In-N-Out fries.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think they're terrible.
shit.
But
The
their
burgers
are.
This is simple for me, and I'm such a New York homer here, and not a Texan. I don't like Whataburger. It gets cut. It's not even my favorite. You take In-N-Out and Shake Shack out of here. I've had other burgers here. I've had Pete Terry's, some other stuff. Whataburger is my least favorite burger here.
But they got spicy ketchup.
I don't like ketchup. Ketchup's.
It's not kosher.
So for me, Shake Shack,
The fast food power.
I get so excited about Shake Shack to this day that unmentionable things happen to me. So
See, but the thing is Shake Shack, Danny Myers did a great job, franchising that shit, whatever. It's everywhere. Whataburger is a Texas thing. In-N-Out is a California thing.
very segmented.
It is.
I could live without the fries when I go to a burger joint. Like I can go to In-N-Out and get 2 singles with cheese and not have the fries at all. And
Yeah, I agree.
Their Neapolitan shake is awesome. Courtney, to your point, we went to Whataburger after a night of I lost count of how many old fashions I had. And it was like Jason escorting his grandfather into the house with a bag of burgers in his hand. I barely remember that night. So
Ryan, settle down with the White Castle. I didn't want to have a bowel movement on the show, okay? Relax.
I've got a great White Castle story.
Are there more to this, or is this the only question?
Nashville, Tennessee.
I've got 4 start, bench, cuts. So get to your.
Okay, is it White Castle on here?
Out of pure full meal, I start Shake Shack, I bench In-N-Out, and I cut Whataburger.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Swintel's going to get his tongue cut out.
That's awesome.
Start Shake Shack, bench In-N-Out, cut Whataburger. Yeah,
that was easy. Shake Shack has the best burger out of the 3 by far.
and best fries.
And it does. It's funny. Their fries aren't even outstanding, but of these 3 places, they do have the best fries out of them. You're right.
You're going to hate this, but the only thing their fries need is mayo.
Well, what are you, fucking Canadian?
Let me guess, you're going to miss it with the fucking ketchup, and you're really going to get me.
No. My wife does that. Just some mayo and salt.
All right, next one. We have the drink special. We have the old fashioned. We have the Manhattan, and we have the whiskey sour. All 3 classic beverages. Whiskey sour, fun fact, was my grandfather's favorite drink by far. But our other 2 you've turned me on to over the last year, and I'm really into the old fashions in Manhattan. So, what say you, Mr. Soriano?
Start an old fashioned. I love a Manhattan, specifically in that glass.
Mm-hmm.
I would bench Manhattan and cut whiskey sour. I've never been a fan of them. I think they're just not. First of all, bartenders fuck those up all the time.
Oh, all the time.
They use that dumb mix instead of actually making.
Yeah, it's like fucking Kool-Aid with a shot of JMO, and that's it.
And the problem is, you can only drink one because then then it's really hard to drink. I could keep drinking old fashions and Manhattans. I could go back to back to back.
Yeah. I could drink Manhattans are. I've actually started almost drinking those more than old fashions, but both of those fantastic drinks.
You know,
the thing with the Manhattan. You could end up drinking just straight rye after a while.
Manhattan's definitely hit me harder.
Manhattans, yeah, and I'm enjoying them too. I almost had a tie for the start. I will cut whiskey sour just because, again, it's a hard drink to keep drinking and it gets messed up way too often. But I'll tell you, the old fashioned
margaritas is bad.
The old fashioned. If I was able to ask a bartender what kind of ice you're using before I ordered it, that would determine if I'm getting an old fashioned or Manhattan. I need them to disclose the ice because that really pisses me off when it's like crushed ice or some shit like that.
Well, and you got to be specific with a Manhattan and order it up and not on the rocks too.
Correct. But that ice game for the old fashioned, you can't screw that up. That's a big deal. And the right cherries too, right? You got the right cherries at your house.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, I got them right here.
Yeah.
Maraschinos. No, yeah, none of that bullshit.
We use these.
So there.
Yeah, it's good shit in the fucking thick liquid. It's good stuff.
No liquid.
Whatever you're doing over there, you let me talk about that with people.
All right, what's next?
So far we've been in agreement on all this stuff. So we'll see what next.
Let's talk about White Castle.
All right, we have poker, blackjack, or craps.
Oh. This is easy.
You cut poker.
Yeah, dice and 21.
Yeah, I would probably. I'd start craps.
Yeah,
I could play blackjack for hours, and I will probably smoke myself into an oxygen tank doing it.
The emotional roller coaster,
which is not a bad thing.
No. The emotional roller coasters of blackjack are really difficult to deal with.
Yeah,
really.
The thing about blackjack is I really enjoy it. The thing that determines this game. Fucking I am John. The thing that determines those two games is the mood. If I sit at a blackjack table long enough, I am going to get shit-faced and I am going to be smoking, but I am going to just sit there and push chips forward and play the hands. If I'm playing craps, it's like, kids, close your ears. It's like I just did a bump and I am like, whoosh, like I want to roll the dice. I want to, start pressing bets. I've got, I got horn bets over here. I'm going bananas. I'm high-fiving people I don't know. The guys over here.
Can't do that anymore.
Shut up. The guys over here that are, that are used to playing dice on the stoop or going bananas. It's fantastic. It's a rush. So.
Courtney, video poker was not an option. Okay.
I'll do that when I retire.
Listen, you got me into craps, and I like it more and more. I'll probably still start blackjack because of my comfort level. But I got to be – the problem with blackjack is you have to make decisions, right? Craps is more fun. You're throwing dice, right? Or deciding your bet. Blackjack hits, stay. You got to think, got to pay attention. You need to be alert. It could be – that's why craps is more fun. So – I don't know, man. It's starting to take it over for me. I'll cut poker. I suck. I can't keep a straight face. So,
yeah.
Dan, what do you got?
I agree. It's dice. It's 21, and I love playing poker. I love it. I love playing poker with friends. I don't like playing with other people. It's a fun game. You can fuck around a table, whatever, and make it a night. Have a couple drinks, order a pizza, whatever. But I don't like playing with other people. I've never played poker in a casino, and I never will. But
It's
when you
not-
walk into a casino and you go over there and you hear the roar, you're like, "That's where I gotta be." And playing craps at the El Cortez at 3 a.m. while there's like some 12-year-old standing over on the other side of the bar with his hooker mother, and they're trying to explain to him how he barely could see over the edge. That's what life is all about living.
And by the way,
Myself.
for Swintal, the El Cortez, there is a White Castle.
There is.
And I have not been there once without a bullet hole in that glass.
We've been there.
We have been there.
We've been
It's
there.
much easier to get to than the In-N-Out on the other side of the freeway.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So I got one more for you, and it's a really special one. And Matt, you're gonna love this one. No, you're gonna have very strong opinions about it, and it's soft drinks,
Oh, fuck you.
Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or RC fucking Cola.
Pepsi's fucking garbage. Who drinks that shit anyway?
It's a New York product.
It's a North Carolina product. Just because they had an office in Westchester County doesn't mean they're a fucking New York product. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Where's
The only place I ever had an RC Cola was at Shea Stadium. True story.
That's
So
right.
remember,
That is right.
Yankee Stadium had RC Cola for like 1 year in like the mid '90s,
Yeah.
early '90s rather.
For you kids at home, you would get a plastic cup with
Ugh.
crushed
Yes.
ice,
Melted crush.
right? Melted crushed ice because the guy was carrying it around.
Oh, it's great.
And it
With the film on top.
Since 2 hours before the game started.
Cola, yeah, and there was like a little, plastic condom on top,
Yes.
so that it wouldn't spill. And the beer cups were the exact same way.
Yeah.
Except the beer was like that much head.
That was before I was legal to drink, so I just did the soda.
Because Shea Stadium had a Budweiser sign and RC Cola sign out by the board. So,
True.
So here's the thing. Forget this one for a second. That flat, worn soda.
it was still cold.
It depended on the time of year.
About
Hey, I sat in a loge.
I've caught flack for this opinion. There's certain things growing up, sights, smells, tastes of a baseball stadium. I'll take that fucking soda setup over the bottles, the fucking plastic bottles they do now any day. Any day.
I have to give a shout out to Jim Soriano because I know he's going to sit and watch this in like 3 days. And Pop, don't forget, behind home plate, lowest level at Shea. We never get the hot dogs at the seat that the guy's been carrying around since 7 o'clock in the morning. You got to go behind home plate and get the only vendor with a knish, because it was the only kosher vendor at Shea Stadium, on 2 hot dogs with mustard and sauerkraut. Anyway, RC Cola with the film is the only time you got anything from the vendor, because they had Conn's hot dogs at the time, which sucked, but they were okay off the rollers. They were okay off the rollers, but never the steamed dogs.
Never.
And yeah, or a pretzel you would get. That was it. But usually just soda. You got to cut Pepsi. It's got no taste. Coke is Coke. I would start RC, bench Coca-Cola. My wife will probably divorce me over that.
Oh,
And,
over that.
RCA.
And Eric Frankel, can you name the honorary name of Spring Valley baseball?
Did you ever get the ice cream in the Mets batting hat? I hate that shit.
Well, of course. Every kid did. I probably still have the helmet. Actually, I do. It's in my office at work. Crystal Hooper, I know you're watching. Well, she probably won't even say that she saw it anyway out of spite. But it's sitting above my desk. I got a little Giants helmet and a little Mets helmet.
These are the things that just.
How do you not love that?
No, I'm just not a big ice cream person, and that's just. I'd have like 4 hot dogs.
It's not kosher.
I happen to know that. I happen to know that you love like a marshmallow thrust or whatever the hell you called it the other day.
Jack Howard.
Marshmallow.
Wait, so Dan, so I'm at the drive-in for the his fucking face. I'm at the
Jesus Christ! All right, this is a live show, fellas.
I
He's
can't.
on. He's in the drive-through on the phone.
I'm at the
He's
drive-thru.
ordering ice cream, and he's like, "Hey, can I get a marshmallow jackhammer while I'm at it?" I was like, "Did you really just say that on the phone with me?" I'm gonna regret that.
Look, it's not my business if you want to get a rib job from the steak with Marshmallow Man. Okay, whatever works for you.
The timing, though, he called right as I was fucking ordering.
All right, let's go. It's late out here on the East Coast.
Why did you throw your hat? Why did you throw that at her?
She's always mad at me.
She's smart. Oh my god! All right. So next week we do an NHL preview. I don't fucking know how we're doing it, but we're doing it. We pulled off the basketball bracket. We could sure as shit do a hockey bracket, right? Like,
Here's to Josh, the Red Sox fan. What a guy.
no, seriously. Josh set us up for success tonight, and I don't know what the hell I'll send him a koozie. I don't know.
Hey, props to Mrs. Red Sox fan.
Yeah, no, it was a good effort tonight. It helped us out, got us going, because I was nervous as hell about the basketball. I'm not lying. I didn't know what the hell we were going to do.
I think a good amount of that bourbon too.
That was great. Dan, final thoughts for this week's show?
Take the Rockets, man. We got sports now, MLS, EPL, NASCAR. Think about it. The dominoes are falling. I know that things don't look that great in certain parts of the country, but, there are things to wager on. So find yourself a betting app and make some moves, It's not that bad. You can find a way to get yourself.
Mr. Soriano, thoughts heading into another weekend?
Well, like Diamond Dan said, there are plenty of people out there that are willing to take your bets. And in my case, my bookie is definitely willing to take my money because I am on quite the cold streak. Whether it's horse racing or the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, I have not won a bet in quite a while. So if anybody has any tips for Russian table tennis, I'm going to try my hand at that this weekend. But, good show, boys. Always a pleasure.
I will not take it personally that nobody wanted to get on the episode with us. Why would you want to do that? So it's okay. We had a record high of 11 viewers at one time, and we currently have 6. So we could be worse. It's been a fun night tonight. Absolutely what the doctor ordered for another Thursday night of quarantine. And we hope to have a good weekend of car racing. Actually, Xfinity is on tonight, I believe. It
Yes, it's on right now.
So we're going to go watch that. Xfinity
We're
race.
going to Kentucky. We're going to Kentucky. I once again pick Eric Almirola, top 5 finish. I don't know what the odds are, but I'm sure they're good. Take them.
Here's to no injuries during baseball summer camp, and no more of the COVID tests coming back positive either. We like to have a somewhat decent season in a couple of weeks. So,
and hopefully John Carlo keeps hitting his targets.
With that said, everyone, thank you for tuning in tonight. Gentlemen, thanks for contributing. We'll see you again next week on the Grand Central Sports Hub.